Hargeet Chani, let's get right into the Xbox Ally and the Xbox Ally X released on the 16th of October. It has been over a month now that you and myself have had this the console. I actually don't know if Mav bought it or not because we haven't talked in a minute. I know Kay Asante was on the fence, but he also has a ridiculous amount of handheld, so he didn't necessarily need it. But he did use the Xbox full screen experience on one of his other handhelds. What are your thoughts on it, man? Because and the reason why this comes up in conversation today is because of a story that was written by I believe it was Jez Cordon that wrote the story. I just got to find it here, and I'll bring it up so we can have this conversation. But how have you enjoyed it? I know you said you had some things that you liked and some things that you didn't like, some things you want some changes. Let us know what you're thinking about, man.
Yeah, so overall, I mean, it's like I'm on a journey with it. That's the whole point of it, right? I actually use the full screen experience on my main PC desktop, right? So,
okay, that's nice.
So I live with that pretty much every day. They've been enhancing it, but marginally. I still think there's a lot of things they need to fix, but you know, it'll get better over time. The update process still needs a lot of work. Okay. The launching is pretty good. Like you can pretty much get everything there, and you can just go to your game and it'll kind of work. But there's times when it's not the greatest. So you know, overall, it's a good step. I think there's still more to go. I think from a device perspective, it's pretty good. So that part of it, well done. It's powerful enough. It feels like well made. It's good in the like hand finish, all that stuff. It's great. That part's working. It's really the UI, and the UI it's a good step. It's a step, and it's a journey.
It's not the final form that you're hoping for. Is basically what you're saying.
I mean, you're using it as well, and like when you compare that to the Xbox actual like console UI versus what they've done here, you can see the disjoint, right? There's definitely a disjoint.
Yep.
And I want it to be, well, whether it's the Xbox looks like this or this looks like that, whatever it is, they really need to merge that. It needs to look the same so that the experience, no matter where you are, is always similar, right? And so you're used to what you need to be, you're doing, and everything is kind of the same. It's close, but it's not quite the same. So there are nuances that they need to kind of fix. Windows settings, it's kind of in a whole different area. It gets a little bit cumbersome to get into, and it's like, well, okay, kind of make that better. It still installs stuff that you shouldn't need to have on a gaming machine. That stuff needs to be ironed out, but whatever. It's like, again, it's getting there incrementally. It'll get there, but like overall, I think it's a good journey. I think the device, even with that, has potential. But they do have a little bit of bloat. And I'm hoping that like sort of Windows 12 comes along and says, we're really going to have a streamlined game mode for the OS. And it's going to really cut back on all the stuff that's just superfluous to running a gaming machine, right? Much like what you currently have, right? The OS that's on Xbox is a very stripped down Windows, very, very stripped down Windows. That's what you kind of need to do. And so they need to get to that level. But the promise is pretty good, right? You can literally play anything you want. So that part of it is pretty good. There's no limitations like, the Steam Deck or Steam Machine would have where you can't play all the big games. That's a problem, right? So, if somebody goes and buys that thing and says, oh, I can't play Call of Duty. Oh, crap. I can't play Battlefield. Oh, I didn't know that. Minecraft, that's not available. Roblox, not available. Oh, Fortnite not available. Yeah, that's going to be a problem for that machine, right? But hey, for those people who are okay with that, they understand the limitations, that might be cool. This gives you all of it. Everything works out of the box. You can play the games. Cool. You can even access the stores. Not as easy as I was hoping, but like it's there. If you hit the Xbox button, you see all the stores right there at the bottom. That's cool. It's right there. Cool. You can go to the stores, log in. You got all your stuff. Cool.
Yeah.
So it's getting there, right? It would have been nice to have a little bit of a sort of hey, you're an Xbox console player. Here's a little video that tells you how to do the stuff you're used to. right? That would probably be a good step. And, you know, look, hopefully they learn and do that. I know Armory Crate is doing some of the heavy lifting here as well.
Yeah.
But this is kind of the stuff. I want them to kind of merge that experience, make it cohesive. That's something they're going to have to work through, right? They're kind of like going in this mode of, hey, each device manufacturer, go do your own little thing and do the stuff that you need to do for your device, and then we'll just do the little OS pieces. Like, that's not how it should be. They really need to get to a point where they're saying this is an Xbox device. The Xbox system handles all the crap. That just needs to kind of do that. So when we, you know, again, as I said, it's a journey. We're at the beginning of that journey, which is why I'm like hesitant to say anything comes out in 2026. Because I'm like, you have a lot of work. So get that done first. But you know, whatever. We'll see what happens there. But overall, I'm kind of you know, I'm somewhat happy with where they are. I really like the device itself. I think the physical part of it, well done. So that's good. The OS, the software, which again, they can update, they can keep making better and better and better. Cool. That needs work. So I'm waiting for that to keep happening. But look, I lived that experience on my main desktop, not only on my ROG, on my main desktop. So I'm happy with where they are. I'm happy the sales are good. That's pretty, you know, impressive that they're
For a $1,000 device.
Well.
Yeah.
And people want the $1,000 model, not the 600, right? I think the lower tier is 600. The $600 model. They want the $1,000 model. It's like, okay, that's an interesting, you know, thing to learn. So great. Overall, that's good stuff. So that's kind of where I am right now.
I mean, and it's fair points. You know, would you say that, you know, you're okay? I mean, no one's okay spending $1,000, but do you feel that it's been worth your spending?
I mean, boom, it's me. I've probably spent 3,000-4,000 this year in just giving away codes.
That's
so
true.
Easily. It's like, dude, $1,000 to me, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to, you know, again, I got to ask the question, but you know what? The article that I have in front of me that has already been added to the show notes, if you want to click on it and read another great piece from Jez Cordon, I'm going to just read some excerpts from it before I bring in Asante. And it says, I'm re-reviewing the Xbox Ally after a month of daily use. Everything I love, desperately want fixed, and why it's really an Xbox. And Jez Cordon goes on to say, the Xbox Ally has totally changed my gaming habits, and honestly, other leisure habits as well. But the criticisms are valid, particularly so if you're trying to use this more like a PC than an Xbox, is one of them. He goes on to say that the Xbox Ally has been semi-available for 4 weeks now, and I've used it almost every day since launch. And Jez goes on to say the Xbox Ally represents some of the closest collaborations between Windows 11 and the Xbox teams in the platform's history, as Microsoft works flat out to improve the gamepad first experience on an OS specifically not designed for it. We heard that the Xbox full experience was put together in just over a year, as Microsoft decided to park its own handheld ambitions and bring something to the market more rapidly. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, that is why they teamed up with Asus. And lastly, he goes on to say, this is not the full technical review of the Xbox Ally or the Xbox Ally X, which can be read over here. And of course, I'll supply a link so you can go read their review. He says, instead, this is a reflection of a month of near daily use with the Xbox Ally, research of ongoing issues, and discussions with the community. Should you buy the Xbox Ally, he asks. And he goes on to say, here are my thoughts on the current state. So, of course, I'm going to leave it to you folks in your imagination. I will provide the link for this written article as well as their written review. But, Kay Asante, I know you don't have the device.
Hold on, guys. I have a nice new one from FarQ. I have to. Unfortunately, Kay Asante, this is for you.
Oh,
enjoy.
man.
Let's see.
Hold on a sec.
Oh my God! What are you doing, FarQ? What the heck is that?
I don't know. That is
that a variation?
That is very disturbing.
That is That is something.
That is very, very disturbing.
That Yep, that is Far Q at its best.
Well,
Far
since
Q-
Quesante is not on video, I'll leave that up for Quesante.
Stop it. Please stop it. I don't appreciate
please
that.
stop it. That is creepy
ridiculous.
as AF. So
Oh,
Far Q,
don't
Maybe the
Far
other
Q
one's dead. Xbox
Jesus.
dead.
Yeah, there we go.
Ridiculous. That's what I'm saying. Jesus.
Yep, and there's the Undertaker, and there's Paris Lily doing what he does best. The Undertaker
dancing
dance
on the grave. Yes.
dancing on the grave of Xbox. So you know what?
Jesus.
While you compose yourself, KSI,
While I go wash myself off from all that disturbance.
I want to get your thoughts on this because Hargeet made mention of it, and we know that this is true because Asus mentioned this in their Q3 to their investors on how the Xbox Series X, specifically the Ally X, is the Series X. The Ally X is not only in high demand, but they are having a difficult time keeping it in stock. This has been, widely reported, and it was reconfirmed when they did their Q3 sit down with their investors. Let's get your thoughts on so far. I mean, a month has been reviewed. A month has been, the console's out. The handheld is out, I should say, and people are buying it in bulk. People are enjoying it. I don't know how many scalpers have it or they don't, but let's get your thoughts so far on what they've done in the first 30 days of the Xbox Ally.
So first off, I'll say, Far Q, you need to do better, man. Everybody else gets it cool when mine looks psychotic, but that's neither here nor there. Do better, sir. Anyway, so I'm actually very happy with what the turnout so far. Like you said, I got a chance to play with it a little early. Big pause. I happen to be in Germany this year, and we were able to get our hands on the Ally, the Xbox Ally and Ally X. So I did get a chance to feel the ergonomics, and I've actually even had a chance to kind of play with it a bit more since it's been released. But as you said, I had a few handhelds already that kind of fulfill that quota for me. So I chose not to purchase it. But even before the hardware came out, I had installed the full screen experience on my Legion Go. And now it's also on the MSI Claw. So both devices that I own, that I use as my daily drivers, have the full screen experience. And I will say I'm very happy with it. I have come to understand what the vision that Microsoft is trying to sell you. I agree with everybody else's take that it's not ready for prime time yet. It's not quite pencils down just yet, but I like what they've shown so far. Right there's some pluses and minuses there. I was recently talking to some folks on the Discord who were telling me about some of the growing pains they're having. The most recent issue they've seen on their allies is that sometimes when an update comes out, it takes priority over your screen. So you could be playing a game and then all of a sudden Armory Crate will pop up and say, hey, I need to install something, right? And to me, those issues, and we were talking about that for some time, those are the issues that pop up when you try to make a desktop class operating system into a mobile handheld, right? Certain things that are used to being just normal on a desktop handheld, a desktop operating system rather, won't work very well. So it will take a journey for them to translate all those things, turn off what needs to be turned off, all of that. But by and large, where they started to where they are right now, I cannot deny is a really good place. I love the game bar. I love the way it allows for developers to do very interesting things. Recently, we were all complaining about how the when you install games, not all of the covers art is well reflected. Then some intrepid developer built an app that lets you fix that. He just recently released an update this morning that automatically updates all of your library with the great art. Very, very easy. They've built an ecosystem that others can kind of like capitalize on, and it's all for the benefit of the consumer. So for me, I think it's a great experience. I think it's really good. As far as the Ally X and X, they happen to catch the zeitgeist. The price point is not great. It's still not great, but let's keep it a buck. It's not great anywhere. Nowhere will you find hardware that is properly equipped, properly priced to its performance, right? Pricing, economic factors, DRAM shortages are making prices go up all over the place. So in that world with that factor in, this is the cheapest way of getting into this specific generation of chips, right? All the other chips that are exactly like this from other makers are deep into the $1,000. So this is very much the cheapest way to get in. I'm talking about the series, the X variant. So I think they're doing well with all that. All that taken into consideration, they seem to be happy with its results. It sounds like they're going to come out with more of them. Hey, this is great. And for me, the reason why this is great news is ASUS's priority is working on that hardware, making it shine. Microsoft's priority is working on that operating system and making it shine. Where does the operating system live? Everywhere. I have a bunch of handhelds. Everything that they do to the ASUS and works great ends up on my handhelds as well. So that's a win for me. It is what it is. It's great.
Well, I mean, listen, this is just the groundwork for ultimately what they're going to do. Now, you've heard Sarah Bond and even Phil Spence talk about that they're going to use what they learn from this partnership for their own handheld, which again is something that they're probably going to do. Could that change? Sure. Have their own Xbox aspirations been shelved? We did hear that. But I mean, I know Hargeet would disagree, but I'm in the court or the camp, if you will, that their next generation is going to include 2 SKUs, and because these are going to be PC levied devices, you're not going to have the same issue you had with the Series X versus the Series S in memory. I think that they have an opportunity to release a big boy console for anyone that wants to spend $8, $9, $1,000 on a console that is expected to be, according to Sarah Bond, a premium and curated device. She literally just sat down with Fortune magazine and reiterated the fact that, yes, their next console is going to be powerful. Now, she didn't mention a handheld, but the rumor that has been running rampant for months now is that it could be a dockable-like device. And that is where all of the work that they're doing right now with ASUS is going to pay off in spades if this handheld dockable device releases in 2027. Mav, let's get your thoughts on your what you think of the Xbox Ally and the Ally X. I mean, again, it has been selling very well. The Ally is still available. The Ally X, not really so much. It has been selling out, and that's actually surprising because it is $1,000. And again, based on the Q3 report, they're having a difficult time keeping it in. Now, there's been some detractors that are like, "Hey, boom, when you put make 3,000, they're going to sell out." They made more than 3,000 units, for Christ's sake. I mean, let's be for real. I don't know what the numbers are because they didn't make mention of it. Could it be a million that sold? Could it be 2 million? We'll have to find out. But I'm using it. Me personally, I'm using it every other day. And I find that using it in the handheld mode by actually holding the device works just as good than me having it docked, which I do play a lot with the controller. That's how I play my Switch. It's docked. I play with a controller. The screen is what the screen is, and either way that I play is great. I've played some big games on there, like Ninja Gaiden, which looked great, ran great. Outer Worlds 2, I put about 10 hours, maybe even 12 hours into my playtime using the handheld. Ball X Pit is something that works really good on there. A bunch of other, 2D games. What are your thoughts on the what's been going on with the Ally X and the fact that it is, hard to, it's a sought after machine?
Yeah, it's kind of what I expected. I thought that it would be highly sought after for a PC handheld, just based on the fact that it is Xbox branded, because there's a lot of Xbox enthusiasts out there that were going to buy this device just because it's labeled Xbox. And it is kind of something that Xbox themselves is marketing really heavily as well, right? So you have kind of like a crossover crowd there. It's the PC handheld crowd that's looking for the next good PC handheld to come out that's kind of like an upgrade over what they've had, or the next best thing out there where they've been waiting on the newest version of the ROG Ally. And then you have your console Xbox enthusiasts that are like, okay, well, this is what Xbox is doing now. I'm going to give this a shot. And I've been waiting for an Xbox handheld for years, right? So I thought it was going to be highly sought after regardless. The price was a little bit higher than I had thought it was going to be, but I still didn't think that was going to be a detraction away from it being able to do as good as it could. So the sales have been kind of at like I would expect them to be. As far as like the quality of life and stuff, I can't speak to it personally because I haven't used it yet. I've been playing on either my console or my PC. But I do want to get one of these devices at some point. I think that overall, everything I've seen out there and has been reported in the kind of the stuff that you guys have been saying, like this is kind of what I thought it would be. Like this device is for me, it's always been a bridge. Like this device is bridging the gap of Xbox transitioning into their future, right? This is the device they're launching. And with that, they have this partnership they're working with. So they have a little bit closer hands-on with some of the hardware aspects of it. But they're also using this device and also closer work that they've been doing with the Windows team and everything now that it's all under one umbrella to really try and create this cohesive experience, which is very important because we know where the future's headed for them. And that future is going to be more open-ended ecosystems like 2K's Strauss Zelnick talked about recently, talking about how everything's moving towards PC and open-ended ecosystems. So this is kind of where we're seeing the future's going. Play Anywhere is a big thing right now. We're seeing, I think the partner show that they're having tomorrow, every game that's going to be there is Xbox Play Anywhere. So that just means you'll be able to play on PC and on console. And we're seeing, because of this device as well, and also the other updates that have been going to PC and other PC handhelds, that more games are becoming Xbox Play Anywhere. So I think in the future, the more that they keep putting these updates out there, the more that Xbox becomes synonymous with PC gaming, to increase that market share against Steam. You're going to see more of that. Hey, we're going to support that Xbox ecosystem on PC and console as well. And then next generation, what we hope they get to and what they're going to keep working towards using this device and the other updates that they're doing is to make it to where it is that cohesive, seamless experience. And all the updates, I mean, we're only a month in and they've already done some updates. I think everybody's talking about Asus just had an Armory Crate update recently that also had a lot of updates for it. So they're going to be progressively working on this to make it more seamless, more smooth, easier to update, I hope. Because that's the main drawback I've seen from some is like, hey, if something isn't working, you still have all the crappy stuff you have to do with PC stuff with like BIOS or different things, to get certain things working, which nobody wants to deal with that. Like, and that's my biggest drawback from Steam decks and from potentially the Steam machine and everything as well, because in order to get all my other libraries and all the other stuff on there, I got to be like Kay Asante and do all this workaround crap and know how to like pretty much be a hacker to figure out how to put Game Pass on it or figure out how to do this. I remember he helped me before when I had the Steam Deck trying to get Game Pass Cloud on it. And I was like, what the heck is this, man? Like, I got to know binary code to be able to figure out this crap. It was ridiculous. However, got it eventually working. I don't want to have to do that to access all your Xbox and your Game Pass library, all of the Epic Games Store stuff I have, EA, Ubisoft Store stuff. I want to be able to have access to everything. And that's the biggest benefit that we have looking at where the future is headed with Xbox towards next generation and these devices is that you get a device, you have your Xbox games, you have all the next gen Xbox games, you have all the last gen Xbox games, you have all the games from your Steam library, all the same stuff that Steam Machine can do, all the same stuff that Steam Deck can do, plus also you have everything else. So for me as a consumer, like, why wouldn't I want access to all the other stores, all the other games, all the other deals that you can get on games and all of that kind of stuff? I would much rather have that experience, but they got to get it seamless and smooth. So I think that's what we're going to see with all these updates here over the next year and a half, possibly 2 years before we see the actual launch of the next Xbox device. But this is going to be in a very important time period for them in that bridge towards that. So we're going to keep seeing that transition go. And I think it could be off to a bit better start with like having like, hey, seamless out of the box. You're not going to have anything to do. It's like a console-like experience, but you get all the other kind of stuff as well. It's not there yet, but it seems like it's getting there, and it's off to a better start than many anticipated. So that's I think it's a good thing overall. And to be honest with you, who wins when they're putting all this together and giving us all the storefronts, all the ecosystem, giving us our library and all these kind of things? Who wins is us, the gamers.
Yep.
Because in the future, 100%. We all talked about in the past, hey, what would it be like if there's like a one console future, right? Well, that might be the Xbox. That the Xbox ecosystem that they're building is kind of that thing. You're gonna have access to everything.
Yeah.
On the TV, on the PC, on a handheld device, on your phone. That's what is the most interesting thing to me. And because it is built as the OS, it's going to be playable on multiple devices. It's not going to matter what device you own. So it could be the Xbox Ally. It could be like Asante has, like with the MSI Claw and the Legion Go and whatever Steam machine, whatever else you have, kids. You probably have like 20 handhelds, dude. I don't know how many handhelds you got, but
not that he, 9 or 10. He always says he has under 10.
Under 10.
Under 10. Go. Well, that's great. I mean, but you're going to be able to have this experience no matter where you want to play. And that's exciting for me because, like, hey, buy one thing, get access to it everywhere. My library will just carry over everywhere, and not just one library, all my libraries. Right. So I'm looking forward to all the updates that we keep seeing and how the community responds. But it's good for the community to also put pressure on them with the updates and give that feedback like, hey, this sucks. Hey, this sucks, because that's going to lead them to getting that seamless experience that we all want.
100%.
Right?
Well, I mean, look, there's, obviously we're coming up on the 90-minute mark. So we're going to get everyone out of here, but I want to throw my 2 cents in here because I think it's worth saying. And this is something that I hope, I know that, because again, in June, Hargeet and Asante and I were in LA. We got to talk to some folks. Okay. That, we're not going to tell you who we spoke to, but we know what they're working on and what they're working towards. What they're working towards is a UI to rule them all. You've heard me say this before. What I am actually hoping with the handheld, and that goes for what we currently have, because I want to see it eventually get there. And it's going to at some point. We don't know when, but as good as it is, because it is good, it's very passable. And it's not that you got to work around this, that, and the third. No, the UI for the handheld, for the big screen mode, if you will, the full screen mode, works great. Get you everywhere you got to get to. Your games are there. You go in, you play, and it's awesome. What I'm hoping for is I really want the Xbox console experience to be on this handheld. Like literally, I want it to be identical. What it looks like on my screen, on my big 65-inch TV, I want on the handheld. And I think ultimately, if this is going to work for them, if they want their games, if they want Play Anywhere to be this big thing, which I think it is currently moving towards, it's got to look like that on your tablet, your TV, your handheld, your phone, wherever. They have to figure out a way to get that working across the board. If they can do that, then Play Anywhere is going to be a big deal. And speaking of Play Anywhere, I actually think that is, we talk about smart delivery, right? You buy a game, and if it gets an upgrade, you get the upgrade for free, unlike some other platforms like Nintendo and PlayStation charge you for it. Being able to pick up your game saves multiple places, progression, the Xbox PlayFab just got updated where they have confirmed that they're going to be able to play your Steam games and then simply go back to your box and go back to your Steam games and play, and your progression and your saves are going to work with PlayFab. That's a really big deal. Obviously, being quick resume. I don't know if Quick Resume could ever work on these handhelds, but my God, I hope that it can. Because Quick Resume is one of the unsung heroes of this generation, in my personal opinion. I am gonna say that yes, it may not be perfect, but it is working, and I do like the fact that you are getting updates, and we've only had the console a month, and you have seen some significant updates. This is going to get better. Now, if you're not in the market because you're priced out, that sucks, and I would say just wait. I don't know if this thing drops down in price. I know the PlayStation 5 is dropping $100 across the board on all of their consoles for Black Friday. I mean, that's just Sony going for it. That's just what Sony does, right? So I don't know if these consoles are going to see a reduction or they're not. But I'm very happy that I bought it. I'm not sad that I spent $1,000. I mean, I know a lot of people said that it's $200 too much. And if it would have been $799, maybe they would have jumped on it. And maybe if we didn't have a tariff problem in this country, it could have been $800. But it just is what it was.